his eyes filled with power, wisdom, and pain. This was one of only 3 dragon stones remaining in the Eastlands. There were others, particularly in the Northlands. Because of their isolated locations, the kings had missed these few in their obsession to destroy the Dragon Priestesses and every mark they had ever left on the landscape, along with their precious knowledge. Mother Peg's narrow chest filled with longing to the point of pain. The Dragon Priestesses and their familiars, the little dragons, channels between the great dragons and the people. They had made it possible to live well in the land, in the light of day. Once Mother Peg would have fallen to her knees before the dragonstone. Now if she did that, she might never get up again. She bowed her head, leaning heavily on her walking stick, and reached into a pocket of her skirt to close her hand around some of the sacred herbs she carried there. She prayed, "Please, great dragons, and little dragons, wherever you have gone, there is so little time left. All I want is to find some clues, even just one clue to what the Dragon Priestesses knew. I have healed many people in my time, taught many younger healers, but all I ever truly wanted to leave behind is a key, or part of a key, to the secrets of the Dragon Priestesses." A flake of snow danced with lazy grace through the light of Mother Peg's travel lantern. Then another. They were the fluffy, isolated snowflakes of spring, but they shook Mother Peg out of her prayer. She was cold, and there were all those hurdles to cross again on her way back to the main path. She scattered the sacred herbs at the foot of the dragonstone, and turning awkwardly, began to hobble back the way she had come. Chapter 2. Jessa. Between themselves, Ev and Jessa called the scullery the dungeon, not only because it was a windowless stone room, but because this was where they were sent every time they were caught breaking the rules. The kitchen, just outside the door, bustled with activity, warmed by its open hearth, brick bake oven, and the many lanterns hanging on hooks high on the walls. The scullery was cool, quiet, and damp. Its single lantern cast angular shadows from cans of milk and cream standing in a shallow stone trough along one side of the room, and an array of pots and buckets set upside down to dry on racks along the opposite wall. Shelves held cheeses and eggs, meats and vegetables, anything that needed chilling. The cool dampness came from a small spring bubbling through a pipe in the wall at one end of the stone trough and draining out the other end. Their assignment was usually peeling potatoes, and this is exactly what they were doing, seated on low wooden stools on either side of a large wooden bucket. Their elbows rested on its rim, and their small knives sent long brown curls of peel into its depths. At least Ev made long brown curls of peel. Jessa watched her friend's slender brown hands working quickly and carefully at the same time, the way Ev did everything. Jessa's potatoes tended to shed their skins in ragged chunks. This was the 3rd and final day of their latest exile. Jessa grinned. "What?" Ev asked her. "The look on Sister Mattia's face when she caught me in that dress." Both girls giggled quietly. It wouldn't be a good idea to be heard by the other servants in the kitchen. "Oh, but Jessa," Ev said, "it's a beautiful dress." A new widow had arrived 4 days before. The widows were high-born women whose husbands were dead and children grown. No longer useful to their families, they often chose, or were forced, to retire to the women's retreat house. They had rooms on the upper floor, poor compared to the mansions and castles they came from, but comfortable by the standards of this place. They prayed with the sisters, and most of them worked in the embroidery room, where robes and hangings were made for castles and churches. They wore the same gray dress as the sisters, although their veils were black. The new widow had brought 2 silk dresses for her journey to the retreat house. Ev and Jessa were given the job of cleaning and pressing them for sale in the market. Jessa just couldn't help herself. She had to try one on. "Oh, you're so beautiful. It